Welcome to True Talk, brought to you by Trueland Equipment. Join us as we explore cutting-edge machinery, groundbreaking technology, and inspirational stories from the field.
From the dedicated efforts of our team members to the triumphs and challenges of our farmers, True Talk brings you along every step of the way.
Whether you're a seasoned agriculturalist or simply curious about the industry, tune in to discover the fascinating intersection of technology, agriculture, and green machines.
True Talk, cultivating true conversations.
Okay, welcome back. Agronomy Update 3.0, 4.0,
Last point oh.
last point oh. This is our last one of the season.
I've lost count.
I think our listeners will be happy about that.
If they're not, I am. Well, actually, I don't know. Harvest?
Nah, it's been an interesting season, that's for sure. So,
Commodity market's been interesting, that's for sure.
yeah, says the farm girl. So, and a lot of our customers, and we know that's definitely a challenge at the moment for sure. But challenges aplenty this year. A lot of heat this year. I feel like sometimes our agronomy updates can be like a broken record.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what we talked about last time, to be honest. Do you?
Yeah, I feel like we talked about some like soybean fungicide. We talked about some
disease, perhaps?
probably. We talked about tassel wrap. We talked about some pollination issues.
Yes, tassel wrap and heat.
Yeah.
A lot of heat this year.
That was like right when all the irrigators started to get turned on.
Yeah. We've had a very, very hot summer, very hot growing season. Not just that we've had high temperatures, because we have high temperatures every year. We've had a string of very high temperatures that have kind of stuck around, except for maybe one little partial week
Except for
break.
this past week.
The beginning of September, we've noticed a few cooler mornings now, right? And definitely fall feeling mornings for sure.
Yeah. Mackie's happy.
Yeah, the dog, Mackie, our mascot, right? Podcast mascot. You know, and obviously would love to see a few rain showers yet to finish some things out. Would be wonderful. Don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, I mean, we're in this kind of limbo where it's, do we want rain? Do we not want rain? Some areas probably,
Yeah.
Ohio probably definitely still wants to see
We
some
want
rain.
rain. I want rain. I got to stick a soil probe in the ground at some point. I'd like to have some rain.
Okay, that's just selfish of you.
Yeah, wears a man out.
I would like to be done with harvest. I mean, if it's going to be dead, might as well get it down.
Yeah. So
Only if you have bins, though.
So we are, again, this is going to come out early September. We have had very rapid progression. We always cover the growing degree day scenario in our internal agronomy updates, and we have pushed through our growing degree days fairly quickly this summer. And quite honestly, in the areas that had that early, well, we'll call it early planting date, the late April planting date, April 20th, around there, are going to be hitting black layer here really quick.
Yeah. We had some beans around our area. They're 2-1s, and they were probably August 24th. They were starting the dry down process, a true dry down, not a death on the sandhills.
We gotta go right into that. Yeah.
We don't have to.
No, we can. Yeah, we can. We talked about that earlier. So yeah, I think even a couple guys even have thrown some 1.8 out. So yeah, those dudes will be changing and turning quickly, and beans are turning a lot.
When do you think?
Area.
Mid-September for us over here?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at the latest. Yeah. I think
the latest.
I'll have a guy running some corn by mid-September.
Corn.
Yeah, for sure. 105-day planted early. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they always will start a little on the early side. And I
those
love
crazies,
it.
yeah.
I love it. So, no, we're going to see a lot of changes over the next 10 days probably. And you brought that up. Let's talk about it. There's a difference when we spend so much time talking about corn. Let's talk about beans. You brought up sudden death.
Well, I brought up true death, the true dry down
Right.
process, but there's a lot of confusion this year on what people are calling sudden death versus there's a lot of corn, and even August 20th on, I would say, August 18th on, we really started to see it just run out of gas.
Oh, absolutely. We were getting those yellow leaves were turning yellow, and guys are asking, "Hey, what is this? Is this a nitrogen? This and that?" I'm like, "It's your plant
This is
basically saying
death."
I'm finishing up here."
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I want to use the word death. Sometimes I think it legitimately was firing because it was done too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And,
I guess I should use that instead of death. But
the fact is, again, we shot through our growing degree day calendar
yeah.
very quickly this year because we just had heat and more heat, and
Yeah.
those days just compounded. So one of the big things I just want to shout from the rooftops is, hey, your corn's probably going to mature a lot quicker than you think it is. Don't let it sit out there without at least doing some hand shelling and check your stock qualities, right? Do the push test and the pinch test, because these are one of those seasons where you can sit there.
You want to explain those?
Yeah, well, okay. So the when you're talking about stock integrity, right?
Which we need to be talking about.
Absolutely. We've had enough disease. We'll get into that in a second, but there's two ways to kind of check that. You go down and literally squeeze maybe 6 inches to a foot up the ground, squeeze the stalk and see if it's hollow, right? If it's hollow, that means disease has gotten there. And
That first internode.
right, taking that pith away, that tissue, that healthy plant tissue away. The other thing I like to do is just push that stalk over like 30 degrees and see if it snaps and falls over or kinks and falls over, right? You want to check that stalk integrity. And these are the years, excuse me, these are the years that can scare you, because if you don't realize your corn is much farther along than you think it is, it can start going down if you don't get it out.
Yeah.
And we had that in 2018. And I missed it. I was kicking myself, because if we would have paid attention to some of our aerial imagery and some things, we would have seen that crop finishing out a lot quicker than the naked eye was picking up.
Yeah. And
So
I've done a lot of road farming over the past couple weeks, just naturally with my schedule and such. But over, I would say, a vast majority of northern Indiana. And one thing that seems to be fairly consistent is that it's very inconsistent. So you'll go from a super green, looks like we are a true mid-August, and then 50 feet down the edge of the field, it looks like it's mid-September, mid to late September. And
you get into some clays or some sandy hills or droughty areas.
yeah,
Really,
and it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And I've seen that for some places where it makes sense and some where it necessarily doesn't. And some of that might be some disease coming in. Sure. Another thing that I've noticed this year, which is pretty interesting, we've had vomit toxin around here.
Okay, bringing it up. You already know, huh?
Well, yeah. We've had a lot of issues in the past around here with that. And the one thing that I've noticed is this might not be the worst year for vomit toxin, because a lot of those ears actually grew so fast and got so much length on them that they actually erupted out of the husk. Yeah. So
it's actually a good thing, isn't it?
So the tip of that ear is actually somewhat exposed. So we might be opening ourselves up to some of the molds and some more ear rot diseases, but we don't have to worry about that tight situation creating a perfect environment for vomit toxin.
That's right. That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, that's actually a good thing too. I agree that it allows a little aeration. Yes, it'll let maybe a few more insects get in there. a little bit more moisture. Right.
But yeah, all in all, I think that, we're going to have some of that happens. We have a crop exposed to the elements. That stuff naturally happens as we progress through harvest. Yeah. But the good thing and the thing that I would like to see us avoid is that vomit toxin. So all in all.
I mean, obviously sometimes you just don't know until you get to harvest, but I'm with you. And there's usually some things that have to happen during pollination, maybe a little cooler, a little wetter. And we were just pretty much warm the whole time. So, and that's kind of similar to tar spot. I mean, we talk about tar spot, nonstop. And it's been detected all over the state for a long time this summer, but it just never really exploded the way I was expecting to see it, because we were so hot. It kind of kept it somewhat in check. That might have helped keep the vomit toxin in check as well. Now, the flip side of that is, again, I think we talked about southern rust in our last update. Southern rust has taken off and just showing up everywhere.
Oh yeah. You look out over fields and they're like auburn tinted.
Right. I was messing with my yard yesterday, mowing and
your
stuff.
shoes.
Yeah. It's like walking through a yard with rust. Yeah. It's everywhere. So that which it loves the hot weather, right? Because it comes out of the south. So southern rust has been the late season topic of conversation, and it's had a lot of farmers and agronomists and fertilizer dealers kind of talking about whether it needs to be treated or not. And that's been a big kind of question, topic of conversation, and I'm not so sure any of us really and truly had those answers. And to me, I had this chart, and I've actually got it on my phone. Would kind of tell people, hey, there's a little chart out there that talks about what stage is your corn at, and is rust present? Have you sprayed before? Fungicide recently? And the reality is, if you don't have a fungicide application on your corn all the way up through R4, it's almost recommended to spray. So,
Yeah.
Man, that stuff can move fast. And when we're talking about the stalk integrity, that's probably the biggest concern of mine, is because we have so much southern rust poking around. A lot of it's been below the ear, which is a good thing, but it's still in the plant. We want to make sure that we're keeping track of our stalk quality. That can have a big effect on the overall stalk quality. That can lead to some of that premature plant, quote unquote, death that we're talking about.
Yeah.
When we have southern rust, we need
Dry down.
Yep. We need to make sure we know where it's at. Keep an eye on the integrity of your fields, which corn fields have a lot of it. Check your stalks, do the push test, do the squeeze test on the stalk.
I say the reality of it is that we're not necessarily, it might not be affecting your yield and your ear quality and your kernel quality as much as we've seen some tar spot issues
Right.
affect that in the past. What's really going to happen is that you're going to see the effects of that when you get in the cab.
That's right. It's the
So-
stalk quality, the plant
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's reports of central Indiana, and they said as early as August 18th, I think August 15th, August 18th, somewhere in there, were the earliest reported of a full season corn dropping ears due to southern rust.
Yeah. And
So-
and again, that makes sense. I mean, we can travel one county or two counties to the south and see it more because it comes from the south. I mean,
Yeah.
so granted, the northern part of our
And
territory
this,
is a lot.
yeah, I was gonna say this might be South Central, but yeah.
Yeah. So it comes from the south. So needless to say, the southern part of our territory is going to see it before the northern part of our territory will. And it's also kind of coming from the southwest a little bit. So it's been heavier in Iowa. It's just getting into Ohio. So my hope has been the whole time that we can sneak by.
Yeah.
It's tough because you're on the fence and you're thinking, man, this stuff's here. I remember what it did for me back in 2000. And we've already got plants that are stressed from dry conditions and heat. And we're kind of adding a little bit to it. But I think for the most part, because of the price of corn and everything that's going on, we're going to just kind of ride it out in most places. But it again, there's a chart. It's out there. Talks about if you've sprayed and what stage is your corn at. And they'll have you even recommend spraying up through V4 if you don't have any fungicide on already and you have a heavy rust presence. So just keep that in mind. If you've got your corn planted late, if you are expecting a pretty decent corn crop, make sure and keep that protected from southern
R4?
rust.
You said V4.
Or sorry, yeah, R4. Sorry, R4.
I was like,
V4 is way long ago. R4, my bad.
if somebody can build a time machine,
Yeah.
we can easily
Yeah.
do that.
So anyway, so that's a big topic, right? And then you brought up the sudden death. I'm glad you did. Yeah, you've heard it. I've heard it. It's just everybody's talking about sudden death, and the reality is we see it every year in the same little spots. Compact.
I've also heard lots of people come up to you as the agronomist on staff and say, "Oh my gosh, I've seen so much sudden death," and you're like, "Yeah, well,
It's
yeah,
well, I'm like, yeah, we always see it, number one, but
Yeah,
right now
yeah.
it doesn't bother me so much because we're almost done.
yeah."
Like, if it showed up a month ago, I'd be like,
and
that's a
say
big
this
bummer.
is not the end of July, It's-
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, it's here to stay, soil borne, right? Compacted areas, stressed areas that maybe had too much rain, little spots that have gravel underneath that are stressed on the other end of that, areas where you might have cyst nematodes. These little spots are always prone to little patches of sudden death. So, you go out, you look for the leaves, you look for the little interveinal chlorosis of the yellow, and then they die. But right now, if sudden death is creeping in at this point in the calendar, it's
Let
really
it.
not a big deal. I think for the most part, you're right. It might be a combination of a hint of sudden death, but we've just got an area of the field that's stressed and turning much faster
Yeah.
than the rest
Which
of the
we
field.
saw that same thing this spring. I mean, if we go back to our very first one, I can't remember that far back because there's been a lot that's happened in between then and now. But if we reflect back, I'm pretty sure that we talked about when we were talking early emergence, our very first agronomy update, we were talking about how the areas of compaction, the wetter feet soils, all of those situations really came out, and they were very, very visible this year, whereas other years they might not be as pronounced. We saw that a lot this year, and I
Right.
think that that's just been the common theme throughout the entire season.
Well, and when you see them early, guess what? They're going to come back and see them late, right?
Just see it
There's
throughout.
going to be something that comes back to haunt us a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, those spots for the most part are few. I would say few and far between. There's plenty of them, but there's little patches that just got tons and tons of rain and had some drowned out. And yeah,
You know what's not coming back to haunt us though? Our predictions about white mold.
Okay.
So I am happy to say that I think that we were wrong in that one.
Ooh, maybe.
Do you not think so?
I don't know. That's the one thing we think it, and I guess we could probably walk some fields and verify it. But that's the one you really truly don't know until you
open it up
and start harvesting.
Yeah.
See the little cotton ball things. But
yeah, I feel like sometimes you can see a little bit more. I've seen patches go down, I guess, in some green crop where you wouldn't expect it, and that's where I've seen, in my very limited past, seen white mold come out the most and be the most present and pronounced. But I mean, we still could see it. I will say the weather that I thought we were going to get, we talked a lot about not a lot of wind and very cool and very wet and all of those situations where it might lead to a very conducive environment for white mold. Now we're sitting here talking about how hot and dry it's been. So,
well,
hopefully, maybe.
So to me, it's more, maybe ample moisture rainfall, but we've had so much dew. I think that kind of makes up for lack of rainfall in the row. Because when
the past couple weeks have been exceptionally bad. Yeah.
But I'm with you. I mean, I'm hopeful. We've had finally starting to get some breezes back in, which is good. I think it keeps that air moving in that row. I did have a customer I was talking to today, actually, that had white mold pretty bad a couple years ago, and those fields were back in beans this year. And he adjusted his fungicide program in his soybeans to account for it. So I think there's probably a lot of guys that
we're prepared.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something it used to be white mold was kind of hard to prevent. Now we've got some products that will help a little bit. And I feel like there was a push for that this year. And I think guys understood if they had high risk for white mold, they definitely tried to incorporate those products. So that'll help too.
People might be talking about pulling back on their fertilizer, but they're certainly not talking about pulling back on their fungicide, which, hey, that's a whole nother fertilizer conversation. It's a whole different thing. But I am very on board with, let's probably try to prevent that, especially in the areas where we know we might be susceptible.
So this time of year, what are we doing? We're keeping track of our keeping an eye on our corn, right? We want to make sure we are aware of our kernel moisture, right? Our plant integrity. We want to be able to plan harvest around which fields maybe are going to be ready a little sooner than we thought. Maybe which fields might have a potential chance to have some stock and quality integrity issues, right? We want to move those to the top of the list.
We might not be going entirely by maturity this year.
That's right. Find the fields that are potential risk of stock integrity. I don't want to use the word going down, but I'm going to say the fields that have the biggest chance of going down.
Yeah.
If we're to get a weather event.
I've even recommended going back and just looking at your variety sheet.
Yeah.
Just, the scoring system and look at your scorecard and see, okay, now here's what we have. What might be a little bit more susceptible and really get into those fields. I mean, walk the entire thing, a good majority of it.
If we didn't spray a fungicide on a field or some fields,
that should be first on your list.
Absolutely, check those. But it's so easy to do a stock squeeze and a stock pushover test. Check them. Let's see which ones we need to move to the top of the list. The other one I want to, again, we've said it 3 times already in this podcast. Don't look at a field driving down the road and assume
the color.
Yeah, assume that you don't have dry corn. Again, I'm going to go back a few years ago. It might have been that 2018 year. We could have probably started corn harvest 2 weeks earlier if we'd paid attention to that. And we all of a sudden had a lot of head loss of corn, shelling at the head. There were so many things because that corn dried so quick, and it caught us off guard.
And grain quality. I mean, grain quality was down the toilet.
Yeah. So just be looking, be checking. Don't take anything for granted. Make sure we're doing some kernel, do some hand shelling, do some stock tests, and then just keep track. Again, if we have white mold pop up, document it. If we have some other things pop up, document them. Let's make some decisions on variety and hybrid purchases in the future based on that field history. It's always good a good practice to document what we see out there this time of year. And,
Yeah.
and can't change it at this point, but we can certainly make records. And
Well, and the good thing about white mold, I mean, there's really not a lot of good things about white mold, but again, the ability to manage that now versus what we've seen in the past is
Yep.
just tenfold different with new products coming to light, and
Yep.
thankful for the chemistry industry.
right, that's a yield robber. So
Yeah.
spending a few bucks
Oh
on
yeah,
a treatment is good. So
a lingering yield robber.
right,
So yeah,
is this going to be our shortest agronomy update ever?
no.
No. Anything else you want to talk about?
Are you going to talk about soil testing?
Oh my, well, we did that last year too, didn't we? Yeah, I can. Caught me off guard with that one. We
You
didn't
were
plan
like
for that one.
the,
Yeah.
the soil testing.
Yeah, it's my thing, right? It's my
guru,
bag.
yeah.
So yeah. I mean, obviously, I'll be out there doing it pretty soon. I guess I think we probably said this last year as well, if I remember right. Coming into soil testing season, we're a little dry, so obviously take into account that the extra dry soil can tend to have an effect on some of the nutrient levels. Can make maybe like potassium levels fictitiously low. Just because.
And how do you recommend? Do you recommend just going with it and saying, "Hey, I'm just going to trust my gut," or do you recommend doing a retest? Or
I don't know that you need a retest. Just understand that maybe it's not as bad. I think the people that have soil tested for years and years kind of understand, those adjustments and yeah, and history. I mean, go back and look at history and
Yep.
know that you can't drop your potassium level through the floor in 2 years.
Yeah.
Just because of it's dry. I mean,
especially when we've been applying our maintenance.
right.
amounts and stuff.
It could be fictitiously low. So keep an eye on that. pH the same way. Sometimes it can be fictitiously high. Sometimes it can be fictitiously low. If there's one thing I caution people, I don't soil test a lot behind corn anymore. And the reason is because corn can be kind of hard on pH. And also if you have a lot of residual nitrogen in the ground, which we would this year, right? Because we didn't, probably didn't get all of it taken up into the plant. At the same time, we didn't get enough rain to flush it all down either. So having those excess nitrates in the soil can cause a little bit of a pH, a negative on pH, right? Nitrogen can be hard on pH. So keep those things in mind when you're soil testing. Just common sense. If you have history on a field and it looks good, and all of a sudden it's in the toilet, it's probably a little bit of an anomaly or a weather-related issue. But just use common sense and look at trends and look at history and understand that, again, very, very dry conditions can cause things to be a little bit off. So,
What do you say to the people who want to change their fertility program just because of the economic environment?
what do I say?
I don't know.
Good luck? No. You know what? Every single person that I know in farming is concerned about fertilizer prices and what to do. And
Nitrogen prices.
nitrogen prices.
Maybe we can leave some of that nitrogen in the soil till next year.
I mean, so yeah, I get it. I mean, I guess from conversations that I've been having, focus on the fields that need it badly, right?
Yeah.
Focus on the very poor fertility fields. Focus where you're going to get a response. Find efficient ways from a nitrogen standpoint. Back to, I guess, fertilizer. I mean, if we're strip tilling, if we're banding, obviously we can cut back some. Nitrogen wise, I've had guys ask about that too. It's kind of the same way to me. Let's find the most efficient way to get the most out of our nitrogen, right? If fall ammonia is cheap, that's all fine and good, but don't forget, we could have some losses between spring.
We all know that I'm a fan of the Farmer's Almanac, and it's supposed to be cold and wet. That's not something that we've seen the past couple of winters.
We'll take it though, right?
Yeah, we'll take it, but we just need to consider that if we are fall applying the majority of our nitrogen.
Well, and really, I think most states have tried to get away from that. Fall applying too much, and we still do a fair amount, but the majority, I think, is we've gotten away from that. But I mean, look, it's fine. There are things that work. I mean,
if you're going to do that, take that into account with your technology.
Sure. use your technology. Let's be accurate. But also maybe do some splitting.
Let's document that appropriately so we know when we're coming back in the spring where where we've already applied, and
maybe utilize some soil nitrate testing in crop if you need to. If we're going to do some side dressing, maybe we can fine tune our program by checking nitrate levels. If you're going to apply nitrogen, I still like the idea of splitting it up with something in the spring, maybe a little bit of 28 or a little bit of 2x2. Splitting up nitrogen is always a good thing, right? It's always a victory. So, I know we got to sharpen our pencils and prioritize fields that need what and find ways to be
Pencils.
efficient.
You mean fire up our calculators?
Fire up our calculators and our pencils and write it out. Yeah. I like to write it on a piece of paper.
I'm sure you do.
But
You math nerd.
yeah, let's be efficient. Let's use our technology, right? Let's be accurate. I can't help but think about exact rate fertilizer.
Yeah.
Knowing what you're putting on and being exact with it. I love that. It's one of my favorite products we sell here is exact rate fertilizer because it is accurate and you know what you're putting on. So
Yeah.
being accurate with your applications is going to be critical as well. So,
And I just feel like from a cost analysis, and we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves into next year's agronomy updates, but yeah, when it comes to documenting all of that stuff, that makes the penciling out of all of our inputs a lot more feasible and a lot more reliable and understandable, and we can actually tailor a program to us to get the most bang for our buck, but also truly understand where our expenses are.
I think you're telling everybody to use field analyzer.
Oh, absolutely.
Please use your field analyzer.
Honestly,
check what paid this year and what didn't pay.
I work here and I know that what I do in Op Center versus how all of you guys might use your Op Center might look a little bit different, but I truly, and I mean this, I bet I spend 80% of my time in field analyzer.
Love it.
Because field analyzer gives you all of your equipment information as well.
That's right.
So between seeing agronomic information and machine information in one singular place and being able to correlate the two when necessary, or, even just drawing some cool conclusions that we might not have before. Yeah, that's where I spend the majority of my time, as you guys should too.
No, you're like this. If you've got stuff out there, let's see what's paying. Let's see what's not paying. Let's see what our numbers tell us. And it's so easy
and you're documenting it already.
That's right.
I mean, sometimes I feel like people don't understand that what they're doing when they type in client farm field and a crop and then put their head down and away they go. They don't understand what door they've just opened.
Yeah, there's value there. Yeah,
so much value.
Yep.
It's way more than the instantaneous yield instantaneous moisture yield that they see on their screen.
That's right.
We can go back and visit that from years and years to come.
Yep. Yeah. Got any questions? Call your local CST, your local Precision Ag CST, because we are obviously a big fan of.
And I will get on a soapbox for an hour, and we don't want to do that. So just call your local CST.
That's right. We spend a lot of time and money working to collect that data. This is a year where we want to make it work for you. So let us know if you need any help. Okay, we good?
We're good.
Happy harvest. Be safe out there. And
I thought you were going to sing a little bit.
Happy trails. I don't think they want to hear that.
Probably not.
Happy harvest. Have a good, safe harvest, everyone. And we'll talk to you next time.
Until next time.